app. So we are rolling. Hey Lena, how you doing? How's school been and all that good stuff? Well, I don't want to waste time. Hey everyone, this is Eric B. Horn, founder of Eric B. Horn Career and Business Solutions, and welcome to another episode of Ask Eric B. Live, where I take your most promising career challenges, career questions, and hope to give you some insight on what you can do to help you move forward with your career. If there's anyone that's on now that had a question, feel free to type it in the comment box and I'll get to you. But as a heads up, I always tell people to email me their questions so I can get the full view of what's going on, because I really can't, you know, you know, tell what you actually need via just a couple of words. So if you did have a question, you can definitely email me at info@ericbhorn.com. Once again, that is info@ericbhorn.com. And I'll do my best to get to it. For these past couple of weeks, it's been a blessing that so many people have, trusted me with their career challenge and emailed me. But the unfortunate thing about it is I can't get to all of them in one session. But I do my best to the questions that I don't get to. I will, do my best to reply back to you, so at least I can give you some career direction. Or if you wanted to, we can take the conversation online via Twitter, and my handle is at ericbhorn.com, where you can DM me and ask me the question there, or like I said, you can email me. But without further ado, let's start getting to some of these questions. The questions that I'm going to read, these are the ones that stood out the most, and hopefully other people who are that's viewing this recording will gain a better understanding of it. So let's get started. So the first topic is, should I change jobs for more money but a longer commute? So there's a plus, meaning wherever he or she, I think this is maybe, I don't know if this is anonymous, wherever they would go, they'll definitely get more money, but the commute is longer. But let's see if we can help them out. Hi, I've been working for a family business for 14 years, which I'm very loyal to, which is good. You've been there for 14 years. I have an opportunity with a similar role for a larger company for 50% more pay. So we know that based off of what he or she is currently making, it's going to increase by 50% if they take the position, which is, that's a good amount of money, right? So if you're making 35, you have the opportunity to make 70, people will jump at the chance to do that. But let's read a little bit further. The only problem is the current commute is 5 minutes, so it's a hop, skip, and a jump from where he or she stays, and the new location will be 45 minutes. I have a young son, so less time at home isn't appealing at the moment, as I don't want to miss him growing up, which I get, because, there was a current stage in my life where I would travel 2.5 hours to and from work. This is before me getting married and having a child. So that definitely plays a part, because you just don't want to leave work when it's dark and come home when it's dark. That can be a bad thing. However, they end with an extra 900 per month. Will an extra 900 per month be worth it? Well, there's a couple of things that you definitely would want to consider way before the actual commute, right? If you've been with a family business for 14 years, right, your loyalty is cemented with this company. But, that shouldn't trap you from exploring new opportunities, right? I'm big on being loyal to yourself, because we all know that being loyal to a company based off of the actual company may not work in your benefit, right? You may be loyal to a company, you've been working there 20 years, 25 years, and they let you go right before retirement, right? So you definitely want to think about your family and the income that's coming in. So based off what you're telling me, for an additional 40-minute travel, you'll be able to get a job paying 50% more. You definitely want to weigh out the pros and cons. Of course, the pro would be the extra money. The con would be the extra travel. But there's ways to get around that, right? For example, this is one thing that I haven't personally done, but I've coached a couple of people on doing it, where they took a job that's, further out, maybe an hour, hour and a half commute for where they currently are. And one of the options that we talked about was, would it be a possibility after maybe a couple of months, you moving a little bit closer to where your job is, right? That's something that you can possibly consider, because if it's 40 minutes now, maybe you can find a place where, and I don't know what your living situation is, right? But maybe you can find a place that's a little bit closer to your job. So instead of a 45-minute commute, it can be a 20-minute commute or a 10 or 15-minute commute if you are willing to move forward. Some people are comfortable where they currently are, especially if you've been there for 14 years. So I'm thinking that just the money and the travel aren't the only things that may be holding you back, so to speak, if you really wanted to take the position. A lot of people in this type of situation, if they've been with a company for so long, they're comfortable, right? And with you being a loyal person, that's another way to get comfortable in your career, which I don't suggest for anyone, but a lot of people do. I mean, it is what it is, right? But, long story short, what I would definitely consider would be also map out the route. If you know it's 45 minutes, can you drive it? But also, is there public transportation that you can take? So that 45-minute commute will be based off of someone else as opposed to you driving, right? So there's a lot of variables that you definitely need to consider, right? But weigh all those options out, and you'll come up with the best decision. But the thing that weighs the most on your decision, which I'm thinking that you may not take it, is that I have a young son, so less time at home isn't appealing at the moment, as I don't want to miss him growing up, which I totally get. We as professionals, we grind, we work our tails off, and we do it for our family, right? But the conundrum is, you working so hard for your family that you never get to see them, right? And I don't care what type of position that you're in, what you do, if you miss out on those years because you're working, you'll never be able to get those back, right? And that can stir up another ripple effect of all other types of things. So definitely weigh out all the options. Also weigh out the option of you moving closer to this new job so the commute won't be as hectic. But there's some things that you need to consider. So definitely good luck to you. And if you are looking at this Instagram Live, whoever asked me this, definitely chime in the comments or email me at info@ericbhorn.com to give me some more details based off of this, because there's a couple of other variables that I would want to ask you. But definitely good luck to you. If you are looking at this Instagram Live, definitely use the hashtag AskEricBLive for your comments, your questions, your comments, your concerns, and things of that nature. I'm big on feedback. I'm just starting to do this on Instagram Live and actually record it. So any type of positive, that's key. Any type of positive or constructive criticism, I'm definitely open to it. You don't want to open up the floodgates and have people spread negative vibes on you. But that's another topic within itself, right? So let's move on to the next question. The topic is the best skill to learn on your own. Now the question is, dear Eric, what do you think is the best skill you can teach yourself during your downtime on a job that will potentially be useful in other roles? I've heard the gambit of learning a programming language to playing around with Microsoft Excel. I'm not sure what would be the most practical and somewhat easy. Hell, even a little fun. So there's a lot of things that you're looking to learn with the combination of all that. I know this is a very broad question, very broad, but the tears of my boredom in this role have me running out of ideas, hence my current job search? Well, the first thing that I would do is figure out what's your next move, right? The type of job that you want, the type of industry, and things of that nature. And then once you find that out, then you can drill down on the type of things that you need to study, or the skills that you need to gain, right? Because like I said, unfortunately, you didn't give enough information based off of what you do, how many years that you've done it, and things of that nature. Knowing that would help even further for me to ask this question. For example, if you are working in accounting, of course, maybe an MBA, or maybe even if you deem to do it, going after, a CPA certification, so definitely, I don't want to leave you high and dry, but I definitely need more information on, what industry you're in and what you want to do, because it's vague, and I don't like giving vague answers. I'd rather give you a drill down specific answer that can help you out, right? So I would definitely want to better serve you with this particular question. So I want you to email me at, reply back to your initial email at info@ericbhorn.com with a little bit more specifics, because once I figure out the industry and then figure out where you want to go in your career, it'll best help me kind of direct you where you want to go. So definitely reply back, and we'll go from there. So the next question from James. Okay. Hey, James, how you doing? How to approach a recruiter for an interview. So he says, I'm a fresh graduate majoring in computer science, and I've landed a job at a startup starting this June, which is great. Congratulations. Last week, I was contacted by a recruiter via email from the Big Four stating that I was a good match for a position. I reverted back to the email. It has been a week since the recruiter has not yet replied. So I called her today and received a message saying that she was in a meeting and will call me soon. Still no reply. What should I do now? Also, would it be a good idea to start interviewing after only a few days on my first job? Well, let me answer the last question first. No, it would not be a good idea for you to start interviewing only after a few days on your first job. Reason being, you haven't even started your first job yet, right? And one of the things that I see college graduates do, one of the biggest mistakes, is they take a position if they're deemed to find one fresh out of college, meaning you're very rare in that perspective. They're looking for the perfect fit. Nothing is the perfect fit, right? Especially in computer science. You are, a rookie when it comes to computer science. So they're probably going to have you do the lower level stuff just so you can get your feet wet, i.e. you get experience in your particular field. Because if you are thinking about interviewing only a few days after your first job, how would that look for the Big Four? And what I mean by that is there any type of stability that you would have within the company? One thing that I don't want you to do is become a job hopper, because a job hopper, and for anyone that doesn't know what that is, a job hopper is someone that doesn't stay at a job for a certain period of time. Technically speaking, you should stay at a job for at least 6 months to a year, not 2 to 3 months. Because if you do that with one job, 9 times out of 10, you're going to find the smallest thing that you don't like about this other job, and then you're going to continue to look. That will eventually grow over time on your resume. And when someone looks at your resume and says that you've only been at a certain place for 3 months, then 6 months, then 9 months, they are not going to really take you seriously, because it shows a pattern of behavior. And the pattern of behavior shows that you are not stable when it comes to your career. So why take forth the time, effort, and energy to onboard you, train you, give you a salary, and then you're going to leave, right? So with that being said, and this may be some advice that you may not like, I would stay at, you have a job, right? And with regards to not being able to get back with this particular recruiter, you're at the mercy of their recruiter, right? Meaning you better believe that that recruiter is also looking for other candidates. So I'm not saying that you may not be in the running, but you, based off what you're saying, you already have a job locked in, right? And congratulations on that. And most graduates not going to be able to get their first job until maybe 6 months to a year out from graduating. You are already ahead of the curve because you have this position that you will start next month, actually, in less than 14 days if you're going to start June 1st, which is a good thing. But what I would do, I would give it maybe 2 to 3 weeks when it comes to that recruiter and gently send them another email. But if you don't hear back from them, then okay, it is what it is. But let me say to you and any other college graduate, there is no perfect position, right? So I don't want you to jump ship on something that's guaranteed without even giving it a try, right? Most people do that, then it gets to a point where it puts you in a, career suicide because you're not going to be looked upon as stable, right? So to sum that particular question up, I will stick with the job that you are gonna have. Give it a chance. See if it may be a good fit for you, but still, I would say reply back to the recruiter from the Big Four. But if you don't hear anything, it's fine because you already have a particular job waiting for you, and give that job a chance before you just want to jump and move somewhere else. Because once again, that doesn't look good on your resume or just from a career perspective, right? So it doesn't look good at all. Next question. Can I call a potential employer to ask if they made a decision on who to hire? Which is a very good question, right? So I've been interviewing with 2 companies and just received an offer from one of the companies. Congratulations. The offer isn't bad, but I feel like if I receive an offer from the second company, it will be better. Well, you kind of assuming some things there, but let's keep going. The second company said that they would come to a decision for the beginning of next week, but I need to contact the first company sooner than to accept or decline their offer, which is a hard timeline for you. Would it be normal if I were to contact the second company saying I've received another offer from another company and want to know if they made a decision? I don't want to come off too pushy, but I would really like to know the decision before I respond to the first offer. This is my first time in this situation and I'm not sure what to do. Thanks for your insight. I would reach out to them to ask, I'm just checking in to see if you need anything else. Just want to know, can you give me a time frame on when you will make your initial decision? But do not, once again, do not say, hey, I need to hurry up with your decision so I can kind of figure out if I want to take this next position. You will shoot yourself in the face, right? Other companies do not need to know if you have another offer on the table, because a lot of times people do that to call a company's bluff, and the company will say, well, since you have that position, we will go with someone else, right? Which is what you don't want, right? This is a prime example of risk 101, right? Don't be ashamed to reach out to the company and ask a time frame on when they're going to make that decision, because you really don't know how many other people they're hiring for. If they've chosen someone already, you don't know the overall timeline when it comes to them hiring someone. You don't know that, and you don't want to force their hand because they're extending a job possibility to you, not the other way around, right? And I know that's kind of hard to swallow, but you can at least ask them, the time frame and when they'll make a decision. If the time frame doesn't fit the first offer, then you need to take the first offer, because what could possibly happen, which I've seen before, is you don't take you play the second company's hand and say that you have a offer. That doesn't work out. Then it gets to a point where you take so long for the first offer, then you end up not having a job, right? So the best thing that you can do is ask the second company the overall time frame, because you don't know who they need to talk to before they make their final decision. This may be the type of position that the actual CFO needs to sign off on, and the CFO may be in a conference or on vacation or whatever the case may be, right? But never force the other company's hand. Never tell them that you have another opportunity, because it may blow up in your face. But once If they reply back to you in a certain period of time, go with that second offer. But if not, go with the first one, because it seems like it's something that's, nothing is 100% guaranteed, right? But this is like 95% guaranteed. And at the end of the day, I don't want you to hold out so long that you miss out on the opportunity to work. Okay. Definitely keep me posted on that particular situation, because I've seen that go different ways where it's worked, which was a huge risk, but it worked from an executive standpoint, which an executive holds a little bit more weight and they're a little bit more desirable than someone in middle management, or maybe just someone just coming in, right? Because you don't have a track record. So an executive can have a little bit more leverage, but if you're just starting out, never tell someone that, hey, I have this job offer over here, to force a second job offer. You'll end up putting yourself in a position that you can't get out of, right? So last question of the evening, which is probably the most interesting. The topic is 30, 60, and 90-day plan, right? Currently, I have an opportunity to interview with my employer for a promotion from a people manager to a department manager. I'm a little confused right there, because I don't know what a people manager is. I mean, an actual manager is someone who manages a department and people at the same time, but it is what it is. In this effort, I'm trying to put together a 30, a 60, and a 90-day plan, but I'm struggling to do so. I know the first 30 days is learning, 60 days is evaluating and planning, and 90 days is executing. But beyond that, I'm a bit lost. Do you have any experience with this type of thing, or be willing to point me in the right direction of a credible online resource? Well, the best advice that I can give you on this, even though I do respect your 30, 60, and 90-day plan, to really be effective, you need to cut those days in half. So it's not 30, 60, 90, it's 15, 30, and 45. And the reason why I say that is based off of the overall culture. You are when they promote someone, you are being put in a position to fill a certain void or to fill a certain problem within that particular department, right? So you may not have a full 90 days. 90 days is for someone that's new, right? But since you are being promoted, you should already know the processes. You already know the procedures within the department. So to be very valuable, you want to figure out what you need to do in the first 45 days. And doing that will help cement what you need to do, right? So for the first 15 days, which is, I mean, if you utilize the time, you definitely want to, instead of learning, you want to research. You want to pick out well, first and foremost, you want to figure out the reason why they are promoting, or why they even need a quote unquote department manager. They will want a department manager as opposed to a people manager. What are the problems? What are the certain challenges that are currently, in place, or that currently exist, that needs to be solved with you being in this new position? Since you're already inside, you should already have that information. If not, you would definitely want to observe, talk to your teammates, or talk to your boss, and talk to your boss's boss to figure out what are some of the problems and some of the challenges that they are looking to solve based off of this new position, right? Because you only know what it currently looks like. You may be in a situation where you actually identified some of the problems, which is good. So you need to, like I said, research what currently is the need for the new position. And what are some of the problems and challenges that you currently face within the department that this new manager role would help. The next 30 days could be the planning, right? The planning piece, because now you figured out, what are the challenges, or more importantly, what are the goals for this particular role? And also, not only that, what are your boss's goals and your boss's goals based off of this new position? Then start to figure out how you're going to go about solving them. What are the solutions that you are going to put in place that will help solve some of those problems? Once again, It's just figuring it out, you know, what you're going to put in place, and also put a timeline to it. So what are you going to do after these 45 days? What are you going to do in the next 3 months from a execution standpoint, right? What are you going to do for the next 6 months? How are you going to track that? How you're going to continue to keep a pulse on your boss and your boss's goals, because you also want to throw that in as a variable, because it may change, right? You may be dumped with more responsibilities. You may have other responsibilities or whatever have you, right? And then the last 45 days, like I said, is the execution piece. This is, you've done your research, you've done your planning. This is where, you know, you start to run, and you're going to run. It's going to be very, very hectic, very, very swift. But at the end of the day, if you stick with the plan that you've created and your boss has approved and your boss's boss has approved, the execution piece, I'm not going to say it's going to be 100% easy, but you now have a roadmap that you can benchmark yourself with to make sure that what you said that you're going to do in these next amount of days, you can get it done. And actually, for you to really stand out, for you to get those things done in the shorter time span than you've said that you'll get it done. People always, especially your bosses and your boss's bosses, they always love to hear that a project came in early as opposed to on time, right? Because like nowadays, on time is considered late based off of how, you know, the hustle and bustle of the new position or the culture of the company, right? So scratch the 30, 60, 90 plan. You want to implement a 15, 30, and 45-day plan. If you're looking at this, and hopefully you are, if you wanted me to help you implement that plan, you can shoot me an email at info@ericbhorn.com. Once again, that email address is info@ericbhorn.com, and I can definitely, you know, assist in pointing you in the right direction. But I do like the mind frame on how you're trying to get this stuff done, right? And as a bonus, one of the things that you want to do throughout your execution plan is check in with your boss on a regular basis on how the execution of the plan is going. Don't let them know, well, if it falls behind, let them know, but don't let them know until you have a plan in place on how you're going to catch up and exceed the timeline again. But definitely keep abreast of what's going on, because, you know, if and when, and hopefully they'll hire you, they're taking a risk on you, right? So make sure that you prove to them that you are the best possible person for the opportunity, right? So the time now, it's actually 32 minutes past the hour, and my goal is to keep this around 30 minutes. So thank you for your time, your effort. If you guys, once again, had any questions, comments, concerns based off of what you heard me answer tonight, or if you had a career question, feel free to reach out to me at info@ericbhorn.com. Once again, that is info@ericbhorn.com, and I will definitely see you guys next Wednesday. Have a good one.